On social media, there are a lot of disinformation about mixed marriages in Yugoslavia. Mixed marriage in the Balkans is a marriage between members of different ethnic groups. It's called mešoviti brak in Serbian. There are two common false claims online. There were no mixed marriages. People were forced into mixed marriages. One extreme anti-Yugoslav claimed online that people in Yugoslavia were forced into mixed marriages in order to create Yugoslav nation. He used Tito as an example. According to him, half Croat, half Slovene Tito had to marry a Serb Jovanka. The truth is that Yugoslav communist regime did not meddle into people's private lives. People could marry whoever they wanted and could divorce later. Let's analyze the numbers. Transitions to marriage in former Yugoslavia, interethnic differences across cohorts. Jean-Marie Le Goff, Francesco Guidici, Pavia University. Mixed marriages were highly promoted at the time of the United Yugoslavia and considered as a way to build a new society. Despite their increase until under the Tito's regime, the level of mixed marriages remained low just before the beginning of armed conflicts and the collapse of the former Yugoslavia. I would point out that promoted does not mean forced. Example, in 1980s there was a very popular TV show called Bolji život, English A Better Life. It was filmed in Belgrade and most actors were ethnic Serbs. It was about family Popadic that has 3 kids, including daughter Violeta. Violeta has disastrous love life before marrying Croat from Dalmatia. Her husband and her father-in-law were played by Croat actors. Her family accepts her husband and there was never a problem with him being Croat. I see this as blatant promotion of mixed marriages. TV show Bolji život is most often repeated TV show in Serbia. It wasn't altered or censored because it was showing polished version of Yugoslavia. Children born from mixed marriages were also supposed to grow in an intercultural environment. Mixed marriages were then strongly encouraged by authorities of former Yugoslavia. Some parts of Yugoslavia, like Slovenia, were very different culturally from the rest. There was genuine fear that Slovenia would declare independence one day. People weren't surprised when Slovenia was the first republic to leave Yugoslavia. The regime used different tactics to create Yugoslav society. Yugoslav army officers couldn't serve in the republic where they were born. They had to move to another republic and bring their families with them. My mom went to school in Belgrade with kids from Macedonia, Slovenia, Croatia, whose fathers were in the military. The hope was that these kids were going to enter into mixed marriages. Exogamic marriages were facilitated by other institutional changes. First, religious marriage was replaced by civil marriage in 1945, which reduced the influence of religious authorities that are in general against interreligious marriages. In 1945, religious marriages were not banned, but they became non-recognized. Usually people would marry publicly in the registry office and marry privately in the church. My grandparents married in the church with only 2 witnesses in attendance. Their families attended civil ceremony later on the same day. I have to point out that many inter-ethnic marriages were not inter-religious marriages. Slovenes and Croats are both Catholics. So Catholic Church would have nothing against Slovene and Croat marrying each other. Also, in patriarchal society, it is expected for a woman to convert to her husband's religion. In 1950, mixed marriage represented 1 marriage in 11, 8.6%, while in 1990 they represented 1 marriage in 7, 13.5%. This means that mixed marriages did exist, but they were never a majority. Fun fact, Serb enemies often accuse Serbs of mixing too much with other ethnic groups and assimilating them. They compare Serbs to Borg from Star Trek, who are famous for assimilating alien nations. Regions with strong ethnic heterogeneity did not display a higher level of mixed marriages. In 1991, the region with the highest rate of interethnic marriages was the Vojvodina, 25%, followed by Croatia, 18%, Serbia and Slovenia, 16%, three regions with a strong homogeneous ethnic composition. I hate when Vojvodina and Serbia are analyzed separately. Vojvodina is an autonomous province in Serbia. I think the communist regime was planning to give status of republic to Vojvodina and Kosovo eventually. That's why they collected data separately for Serbia, Vojvodina and Kosovo. Why were mixed marriages more common in province Vojvodina? Vojvodina has a huge number of ethnic minorities. Some minorities are so small they cannot find spouse within their community. They have to marry a member of other ethnic group. In Serbia, most common interethnic marriages are between Serbs and Montenegrins. There was a TV show called Mešoviti brak, English mixed marriage, about Montenegrin man and Serbian woman and their two teenage kids. The show wasn't true comedy, but it had comic moments. This also has to do with how people see other ethnic groups. Many Serbs believe that Montenegrins are in fact Serbs. Đilas was duped by Serbian nationalists as the creator of the separate Montenegrin ethnicity as opposed to Serb. In an interview with the Borba Daily on 1st May 1945, Đilas stated that Montenegrins are of Serb origin but had over time evolved into a separate nation and ethnic group. Milovan Đilas was communist from Montenegro and he was famous for becoming Tito's enemy. If in Slovenia, Croatia, Vojvodina and Serbia display a constant increase of mixed marriages from 1950 until the beginning of 90s, in Montenegro and Macedonia, after a first phase of increase from 1950, the rate of mixed marriages decreased from 1965, while in Kosovo, mixed marriages constantly decreased from 10% to 6% between 1950 and 1990. Such observations seem to indicate a process of aversion to mixed marriage for several ethnic groups. I have no idea what changed in Montenegro and Macedonia. In the same period, Kosovo became less diverse. Kosovo Albanians had extremely high birth rates, and non-Albanians kept moving out. Today, Albanians make 95% of Kosovo population. Feminist authors mention that mixed marriage did not have the same meaning according to the gender. In almost every region of the former Yugoslavia, a mixed marriage was often composed by a man belonging to the local demographically dominant community and a woman of a local minority. The only exception was Slovenia, where many women married with immigrant men. Far-right Serbs would say that Slovenian women have to marry foreigners because Slovenian men are gays. Moreover, as women were more often socially classified by their marriage, they were more often excluded by their community of origin if she married with a man belonging from another community, and even considered as gained by the husband's group. On the opposite, men engaged in mixed marriages generally maintained their social position into their origins group. Women who married foreigners were often rejected by their families. The woman who marries foreigner is seen as a traitor. Good news is that one can become Serb by joining Serbian Orthodox Church. Many foreigners who want to marry Serb women have to join Serbian Orthodox Church before the marriage. Serb enemies claim that Serbs use their women as weapons of ethnic cleansing. Supposedly, Serb women are given tasks to seduce and marry naive non-Serbs and force them to accept Great Serbia. One ethnic Albanian politician from Montenegro was accused of working on establishing Great Serbia because he supposedly married to a Serb. I checked it and his wife is Albanian. Real and alleged mixed marriages are used in propaganda. Being a mixed couple had several implications. For example, in the context of wars and constitutions of new countries during the 90s, a lot of mixed couples moved from an area where men belonged to a minority to areas where their origin group was demographically dominant. This was done primarily because of the children. Children inherit father's ethnicity and carry his last name. The children will be better protected within their father's community. Many mixed couples left the Balkans and moved away to preserve their marriages. In the 1990s, mixed marriages became a liability. People in mixed marriages were seen as potential traitors and were mistrusted. The transmission of the nationality to the child was another important issue. Census of 1981 showed that 55% of children of mixed marriages declared the nationality of their father, while only 26% declared the nationality of their mother. The only region where most of the children declared the nationality of their mother was, again, Slovenia. Only 12.7% of children of mixed couples declared in the census of 1991 that they were Yugoslav. I have to point out that in 1991, people were less likely to declare as Yugoslavs than in 1981. In 1991, it was obvious that Yugoslavia was going to disband. The common impression was that those who declared as Yugoslavs were either from mixed marriages or die-hard communists. So it's surprising to hear that 87% of kids from mixed marriages did not declare as Yugoslav. Another myth is busted. During and after conflict, several countries, especially Serbia, Bosnia-Herzegovina and Croatia, promoted from the 90s a re-traditionalization of sex roles, a return to gender traditional norms of family organization. Women became seen as mainly responsible for the household labor and even as mothers of the nation. I don't agree with this. Female role in Yugoslavia was to be worker, wife and mother. Yugoslavia wasn't feminist paradise. Yugoslav women were expected to work hard in the office, factory, and then to work hard at home. Older women, like mothers and grandmothers, would help younger women. But men usually did nothing at home. The authors believe that the age of couples have impact on mixed marriages. I'm going to simplify their theory. Slovenes would marry later in life, while Albanians would marry early in life. Thus, it is unlikely that Slovenes and Albanians would intermarry, because they were ready to marry at different stages of their lives. I don't think age mattered that much. Slovenes and Albanians have different languages, different religions, live in different areas. So it's very unlikely for them to meet and marry. The only age-related taboo in Yugoslavia was marriage between older women and younger men. Now, you might have noticed I didn't mention Bosnia. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, where ethnic heterogeneity was higher, only less than a marriage in 8 was interethnic. That would be 12.5%. It seems that the authors expected more mixed marriages in Bosnia. Bosnia had no clear ethnic majority. According to 1953 population census, Bosnia had 44% Serbs, 31% Muslims, and 23% Croats. According to 1991 population census, Bosnia had 43% Muslims, 32% Serbs, and 18% Croats. Serbs went from 44% to 32%, while Muslims went from 31% to 43%. Bosnia had the last population census in 2013, Muslims 50%, Serbs 30%, and Croats 15%. Just to be clear, Bosnia has low birth rates and high migration rates, so the total population is shrinking. Knowing about ethnic tensions in Bosnia, it's rather surprising they had 12.5% mixed marriages. I would say this high number of mixed marriages was a result of communism. Serbs, Croats, and Bosnian Muslims are all ethno-religious and usually wouldn't intermarry. According to Jero and Smith's paper, Ethnic Intermarriage and Social Cohesion, What Can We Learn from Yugoslavia?, some ethnic groups were more open to intermarriages. So my next video will be about who was marrying whom in Yugoslavia.